Welcome, Leo. This is your tarot reading for April. It's a tarot reading I did before April because I don't do divinations during Ramadan. But it still applies to April, and Leo, I hope you get something useful from it. Gosh, Leo, this feels like a microcosm for other signs' readings during April. But also for the year of 2023, which will be tumultuous for most of us. Now, you may know that I don't do divinations online for people or for individuals. I do divinations face-to-face for people, but not online. And why is that? Well, I've somewhat learned that maybe in doing a divination, I'm actually shaping the reality of people. And I'm conscious that I shouldn't be doing that. In fact, it is one of my definitions of black magic. So I don't think I should do it. And that's why I don't do divinations during Ramadan. And what I see here, as I say, is a microcosm of other signs readings and a microcosm for the year. And is this confirming to me that, yes, because I'm a Leo, other people's divinations are falling into place with my view as a Leo? Maybe. I'm drawn to the central card, the Queen of Wands. Many signs have had this card in this placement for the month of April. It's about your relationship with other people. You could tend to flit around. You could be somebody that inspires other people and other people work with you. But there is a danger of you abusing other people. So a bit like why I won't do divinations over the internet for people. It's the same thing, that it's a double-edged sword. You could be inspiring people. You could be leading them when they want to be led. But at what point are you going too far? And I think we need to bear that in mind throughout the entire reading. Your recent past, bottom right-hand corner, the King of Pentacles. Now, many people have had cards placed here that points to the past as being a better time, a time when they felt like they had more control, understood their environment. And this is somebody that's good with money. Now, you'll often hear me saying that I'm not making a financial prediction, and I don't, because I see all financial markets as inherently rigged. And therefore I can't really read financial markets, only energies in the global of what's happening. But I would read into this that you do have a degree of financial sophistication, despite me saying I don't. And certainly in the past I have been good with money. Your current energy is that of the Five of Swords. This is conflict, but this is a winning at all costs conflict. Normally I think this is somebody trying to do it to you, but I think there is an indication that this could be you trying to win at all costs, particularly when juxtapositioned with that Queen of Wands. In the future we have the Ace of Pentacles, new money coming. So whatever turmoil I'm predicting during April, there is the hope of new money. The card impacting on the outcome is the World card. This is a card of major change. So the major change I've been talking of. Hopefully you have learned your lessons from past cycles, and this is a new cycle beginning. It should bring with it some luck for you as well. The card that changes the outcome is the Strength card. That's you, your inner strength. And then the card that is the outcome is the King of Swords. This is you being very clever, being very informative, knowing really what's happening. And I think we've all been searching for answers on what's really happening. But I just wonder if that juxtaposition with the Strength card is saying now is the time to be led by your heart rather than your head. Now the card that dominates, or the energy that dominates the reading, is that of the Queen of Wands. Many people have been getting this Queen in this position. She's a Queen that people do love. She's a Queen that people naturally follow. She's a Queen that knows how to lead and encourage people. But she does tend to be a Queen that flits around. She can be a Queen that maybe uses people. Now, I don't necessarily see this in a malicious way. But what the other readings have been saying to me is that this is a time for cooperation and collaboration, for listening to others. So although you're a leader, you're not competing with others. You need to take others on board, work with others. And I think that's what it's telling us. And this is an energy that runs through the whole reading. And we need to recognise that throughout the entire reading. Now, in your recent past, we have the King of Coins. Now, I see this as a very good card, but it also is like many other signs. I've had a good card in this position, and it's as though the past was a golden age, an age where you had control and understood what was going on. It's actually a card that says you're good with finances. Now, I have in the past made a lot of money and been quite wealthy. It's not the recent past, it's the distant past. But nevertheless, I have been, even though I say that I'm not good with finances and money. And that's because I can't predict the movements in financial markets. So I'm the last person to come to for financial advice. But I can spot underlying trends and I can spot what's going on. And I think this points to the fact that none of us can any longer predict, particularly in 2023, what's going to happen in terms of our investments, in terms of finances, in terms of world economies. Your current energy is the Five of Swords. It is a conflict, but it's a winning at all costs conflict. It's a slightly childish conflict. It's this winner takes all, and if you look at the card, it looks like he's not only won, he's taken their swords and he's hit them on their backsides with the swords. So it's a bit of a playgroundish, childish energy. And now normally I'd see this as something that's happening to you, and given what I think is going to go on in the world, it could refer to something that's happening to you. But I do have this worry that it's you attempting to win at all costs, because it seems to be similar to the warning that comes from this Queen of Wands. And that is, you can either choose to collaborate or you can choose to compete. And I think that might be how we should interpret it, but we'll see. And now I do think that 2023, and April in particular, is going to be a time when many of us lose some money, maybe on investments, or I don't know how. That would be me predicting the sort of financial markets, which, as I say, I don't really do. But I do think that, many of us are going to lose out, and maybe you're no exception, Leo. But what I want to reassure you is that we have the Ace of Pentacles here, which is in the future. And that's suggesting new money is going to come to you in the future. So whatever the turmoils of April, things will improve again. Things will get better. So I think it's a card of great hope to have here, given potentially my overall pessimism about finances during the year. And I've said that 2023, and in particular I think it manifests itself in April, is going to be a tumultuous time for many of us. And here we have the World card, which says yes it is. This is the closing off of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. Hopefully you have learned from it, and it should bring with it luck. So this impacts on the outcome. So these major changes that are going to occur, and it looks like for you, Leo, at least, but it feels the same for many people, they're going to occur in April. So April is a critical month for you. And as I say, I hope you've learned from your past mistakes. And I think that learning is to do with cooperation rather than a competition. And I think it's about being led by the heart rather than the head. And what would change the outcome is the Strength card, which is you, Leo. Now it's an inner strength. If you look at the card, it's the girl rather than the lion that has the strength. She's probably taken a thorn out of the lion's paw and he'll stick by her and protect her. But it's her who has the strength. She's not frightened of the lion. So it's saying that if you have nothing to fear, you can change things, change the outcome. Now, given that I don't see the outcome as a bad outcome, I think this is saying that if you can be led by the heart and be fearless, things could be even better. And I think this is what you should have learned from this last cycle. Whether or not you've learnt it, I think is open to debate. But I think that's what it's telling us. Now the outcome, normally I'd see as a good outcome. It's the King of Swords. He's clever, he's intellectual, logical. Maybe he's got some information, and we've all been searching for information about what's going on in the world, and maybe you get that information. But given that the Strength card changes it, I wonder if even given this information, it sets you off on the wrong path. So if we identify that we have been wronged by people, by powerful people maybe, then we might seek revenge, we might seek to overthrow what is there. When the real way to find change is through love, by cooperating with others, not falling into the trap of competing, because it's competition that's got us to where we are. Now I need to clarify this because I've not half gone off on one now. And I seek clarity on this card of conflict. What's it all about? Well, the first card we get is the Three of Cups, celebration with friends. So is it about friendship? The next card we have is the Page of Cups. Are you perhaps seeking something creative, seeking information? That's interesting, isn't it, that bit? And the final card we have is the Three of Wands. And that's a card of you sort of planning things, planning your options. Okay, let's look at each individually. So the first card is this Three of Cups, celebration, probably with friends, it could be with family, but I think what this is pointing to is that this conflict is a conflict with people close to you. You're having a conflict probably with friends, it could be with family. And remember, the conflict is a win at all costs, so either you or one of them is trying to win at all costs. But it's often because of one hasn't communicated effectively what one all wants from a situation. So I think communication is the key here. But also, remember, I think you need to be led by the heart. And the next card is the Page of Cups. You may be seeking inspiration, seeking something creative. Now, there has been a theme of you trying to explain what's going on. And you're not stupid, Leo. You're not trying to do it through the confines of the past, as it were. You're looking at creative ways of understanding it. But just because of you are seeing it in that way, doesn't mean that everybody else is. And I think this is just simply a warning not to force through your views. You need to bring other people with you and take on board the views of others. And the final card is the Three of Wands. This is you planning. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but I'm a natural planner. You may know I used to teach at a major international business school, and my subject was strategy. I'm always planning. As of late, I even plan what I don't know. I'm much more of a mystical person now, but I'm still plotting out my own mysticism, which is a crazy thing to do. And I think that does tell us something, because of this is a conflict to winning at all cost. And I think it's you trying to force through your opinion and your plans for the futures. And maybe your plans are good plans, but you can't carry people, particularly if you don't communicate with them. So I think this little conflict is avoidable, but it's resolvable. Let's put it that way. It's going to occur in April, but you're going to come out of this much better. So I think we can summarise, Leo. Leo, let me start off by saying that 2023 is going to be a tumultuous year for most people, a year in which people, I think, lose money on investments. And it would appear that April is the month where it all starts to happen, or all comes to something of a head. And this seems to be a microcosm of all the other signs, and if you like, of the year. The past, for many of us, has been something of a golden age, an age that we look back to, when we believed we had control of our lives, when we knew what was going on. For you, it's much more in terms of money. And I'm a Leo, so if we take my own circumstances, yes, I've been a reasonably wealthy person, although I haven't been making any money in well over 10 years now. But yeah, you were sophisticated financially. Right now there's a conflict, and I believe that you're creating this conflict because you're seeking to compete with others, I think for good reasons, rather than collaborate with them. You have a view, and I think they're people close to you, either family or friends. You have a vision of what's going on in the world, and you've been planning on how to adjust to the changes in the world. But other people don't go along with you. And I think for benevolent reasons, you've been trying to drag them along with you. But maybe if you'd spent the time explaining yourself and listening to them, that this conflict could be easily resolved. As I say, I do see financial turmoil, and I think it is going to hit you in April. But I want you to rest assured there's new money coming in. So don't focus on that. I think if you do focus on that, the loss of money, then it will create this conflict. For sure, the world is changing. The world is changing dramatically. For you, Leo, a cycle is coming to an end and a new cycle beginning. And hopefully you've learned from that old cycle. And I think what you should have learned is to be led by the heart rather than the brain. Now, the outcome is most likely that you've not learnt the lesson and you are led by the brain, and maybe that also means that you seek revenge on those that you feel have created the problems for you and maybe for everyone in the world. That you're seeking to pull down everything they created, when really what's required is being led from the heart. It's a completely new way of thinking. It's not more thinking. It's not following how others have done things, but doing something for yourself. And the universe is shouting out, Leo, you're strong, you're brave, you've got this inner strength, you can do it. If only you have confidence in yourself and don't fall into the trap of doing things how you've been told they should be.